Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You may have seen my video where I did the LEDs in this Athearn Genesis GP9, the SMD LEDs on the front end here. In association with that, I had to do a little bit of reconfiguring in the decoder. And I discovered that I had a lot of trouble writing to the decoder and reading from the decoder with my current decoder setup, decoder programming setup. So I went ahead and picked up the PTB-100 from Spring Creek Trains. They attended the Spring DSCD meet in 2023 in Sioux Falls. They had this on hand, and I was able to pick it up for a reasonable price. And so we're going to put it in tonight. So here is the PR3 and the related PR, I believe it's, or PS14, I believe, is the power supply, which I believe would be enough to program sound locomotives. I've got this actually with this little piece of Cat5 wire that I've got two wires up to alligator clips on my programming track. What I'm going to do is tidy this up a little bit and get rid of that that PS14, and the alligator clips were actually in front of my monitor screen, or in my line of sight down to my monitor. So again, I'll be glad to have the programming track fixed, and I'll be glad to have those alligator clips out of my sight, literally. 3 sets of wires, black, orange, and yellow, and there's instructions in here that tell you how to hook it up. It's relatively straightforward. So what we're doing here, and apparently they shared the documentation with Athearn because it looks like the same diagram. It looks like what we've got is the black goes to the command station's power supply. That should be easy enough to do. So the orange 2 wires go to the programming track, so we'll have that hooked into the programming track here in the shop. And then the yellow wires go to the programming track output on the command station. So I've got a DCS100 here, Super Chief system. We'll be hooking it up to that. So the first order of business here is kind of going to be to, in the installation, is, well, to get organized and start tinning wires, really. So I'm going to tin all 6 of the wires that come out from this PTB-100. The Digitrax manual says that the black wire goes to the, ties in with the power supply. So since we've got that wire tinned, all we need to do is just apply just a little bit of heat to it. So I've got these programming track leads pre-tinned here. I'm going to solder this, but then I'm actually going to put a wire nut over these connections because I do not want any trouble. I found that I had a couple of orange wire nuts left over from a different project, and I think that's kind of fitting for the orange wire here. Then we've got the yellow wire that just goes into the programming track receptacle on the command station. So that's easy enough. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the on the DCS100, there's a programming A, programming B, and a ground in between there. So we're going to split. And then we will connect the power supply leads. Again, everything's turned off here, so I'm not worried about any stray current. I've got plenty of light in here, which is also good. So I'm inserting that one power supply lead, and then I'll insert the other power supply lead onto the other side. I wanted to give you a little better shot with a better light in here. So what we ended up having is the black wire tied in with the power supply. I tinned those wires together and soldered them together with the the transformer that comes in for the power supply for the DCS100. Then we got the yellow wires that go out to the programming track, typically the programming track, but in this case we've got them out to the PTB-100, and then we've got the orange wires on the PTB-100 going out to our programming track, which actually is over in the other room here in the shop. I've got a looks like 14 gauge wire, normal household wire that goes in there. And I'll have to make sure everything's unhooked before I try anything over there before we start programming. So regarding the general setup of the PR3 and JMRI, what will generally happen the first time you plug a PR3 into your computer is it will do some self-install. It will generally install on a COM port on your computer. You'll find that out by going into Device Manager and determining what COM port that actually is. And then you'll note that down, and then you'll go over into JMRI, into the System Preferences and Connections, and configure that COM port as the serial port along with your system manufacturer, Digitrax, and then a system connection will be, of course, through a LocalNet PR3. And then in my case, I chose the DCS100 for the Chief. You'll choose whatever command station that you have that you're working with. No special setup is needed for that PTB-100. You just set that up in between your PR3 and your programming track, and you're off and running. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please smash that like button, subscribe for more, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.